Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Creative Warriors online programs powered by Vidyadan. We are back with yet another amazing and very interesting session on design. When we talk about design, design is not just although it starts with the painting that a child starts with a crayon in his hand when they are hardly 1 or 2 years old, but there is a lot of opportunity there with design, marketing, branding, promotions. For every business, the designing is a major component for the success. Today, we have this amazing session on design career in media and entertainment with Mr. Pankaj Sehjowalia. Mr. Pankaj Sehjowalia is a founder director of Lotusutra, academic head at Creative Compass Institute. He won the International DCDC Challenge at IIT Bombay for Wellness Board and Card Game Design to fight COVID 19. He has masters in strategic design management from National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. And for 15 years, he has led design team in enhancing the experience and customer-centric design for international brands such as Piaggio Vespa, Canon Japan, Anthro US, and a lot more about him. We are going to learn from him and understand from him. He's an artist by heart, dedicating his spare time in creating wonderful spiritual mandala pen art. So let's welcome Mr. Pankaj Sehjowalia here as a panelist, as a speaker for today. Welcome, sir, on the platform.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much for the
So,
introduction.
Thank you. So, sir, we wanted to understand when we talk about design. So, design is a very small word, but has a broad meaning.
Right, right. Actually, design is one of the creative education, one of the industries. With design, we also have fine arts and architecture. So these three streams are comes under the creative education and creative careers, right? So it's very essential for all the youngsters to understand that, especially after their school or even after their graduation, they can go ahead and pursue a creative course. And yes, they can also contribute towards careers in media and entertainment industry. So today, that is what we are going to understand through a very interesting presentation. So where they will understand how industries are placed and how they can find a good opportunities there.
Great, sir. So over to you. You have all the rights to share your presentation, and we are here learning from you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'll just share the presentation with all of you. Just a minute. Right. I hope it's visible.
It's visible, but if I may request you to do it full screen, please.
Right. Just a minute. Right. Is it full screen now? Just a minute. It's loading.
Okay. Yes, it's loading here.
Right.
And yeah, yes, please. It's visible.
Right. So as that all of you already know, you're aware of my introduction. So so just as a connection with everyone here, I would like to share that as a child, I was very good in art and craft, and yes, I was good in science and maths as well. So why we are sharing, why we are starting from a very early age, because it's very important to understand that how something that is our hobby, that is our interest area, can become a professional opportunity. We may pursue an education in that particular field. So whatever we do as our early education from school to colleges, that can really contribute to what we do as a professional. So for me, as a young boy, somehow creativity was there, inherent, from my parents, and so even having a very good learning environment in school, and so drawing came quite natural to me. So art and craft, I would spend a lot of time, and I was also comfortable with science because I was curious about how things happen, so how magnet works, how attraction happens, how different principles work. And again, as a multiple skills, so I was quite comfortable with mathematics. So that leads to a technical graduation for me. And further, during my graduation, I realized that I have more inclination towards design. So that took me to another city. So I belong to Chandigarh. So then I worked in Bangalore in a design studio. That was my first experience working in the media and entertainment industry. So followed by, now I wanted a specialization, a master's program. So I prepared for the government colleges in India, for especially for NID. NID is the foremost institute in design. And I also prepared for IITs. So both these colleges are having the oldest programs in design. So what we know about NID is that NID started in 1961. So it was the first government design college. And today, NID offers maximum number of design courses in the world. So they have more than 20 plus specializations. Followed by IIT. So IIT in 1969 in India, they started design as a program, initially with master's program, though we know IIT is more about engineering, but they do have design departments now. And a couple of years back, they also started bachelor's program. So similarly, obviously, there are more government colleges in India, and they are expanding. Like we do have NIFTs in India, and we almost have one NIFT in every state. So we have 20 plus NIFT colleges in India. NIT is also expanding. We have more IITs as well. So looking at the increasing youth population in India, so we do have these opportunities to learn and graduate in design and in other creative professions. So today we are going to understand three creative education fields, starting with art, design, and architecture. So, and since today's focus is also on design careers in media and entertainment industry, so as what we understand from media and entertainment is definitely movies. So coming from our country where we have good turnover and in which runs into millions and billions of Indian rupees. And it not only that, it's not only about the business that films are into, it's also the kind of employment they are generating for the youngsters in India. So today we will also look at not only restricting ourselves to our country, but also the media and entertainment worldwide. So primarily what we have is we have films, movies, definitely TV shows and radios, also music, music industry and news. The second, which is more of the static media, which is print media. So in that we have newspapers, magazines, journals, books, all the publishing industry. Third, which is the upcoming and which has become very instrumental in terms of online entertainment, that is through our social media. Starting, initially it started with YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. So we do get a lot of entertainment, a lot of news, things get viral on these mediums. and now followed by the official platforms where a lot of youngsters are coming up with stories, movies, directions, getting good opportunities with big brands. So we do have Netflix, Disney Hotstar, Prime, Amazon. So every company, every brand is contributing towards media and entertainment. So these categories also bring us to those companies that are doing very well, that are quite successful in their domain. So we will start with films because our life is quite influenced by the films we watch, by the by different movies. So primarily today, we'll focus on Hollywood and Bollywood. So there's a reason why a lot of performers, so whether they are actors or background artists, and a lot of technicians work towards coming up with one successful movie. And apart from professional success, yes, there are other accomplishments where they are nominated for different award functions, whether it's Oscars or Grammy Awards. And similarly, we do have awards for the music industry. So whatever awards we look at, in Hollywood or Bollywood or any industry in the world. So we look at that they also create job opportunities. So right now, what we have in front of us is the recent movie, Disney Pixar movie that was launched online last year, and that won Oscars this year for multiple domains, right? Right from the music to cinematography and direction. So the most important part for us is to understand that the films give opportunities. First, we are looking at the posters. So the posters are designed by a graphic designer. So that is one stream that youngsters can select if they have interest in graphics. So in graphics, we have movies and TV shows as well as the publishing industry. So what we are looking here is that through movies we have four industries that we are catering to. The first one is graphics, the second one is animation, followed by films and VFX. So VFX, which are the special effects, are part of both animation and live films. So in animation, the process is little different from the live films. Otherwise, a lot of job opportunities are there in both. So for example, so if we look at the breakdown of a VFX composition, so what we have is that there are job opportunities for people, for youngsters who are graduates and who wants to specialize in VFX. So there are on different stages they can work on a particular stage. So there are huge teams working to even model a character, to animate a character. So what you have in front of you is a modeling, rigging, and VFX composition to the final output in a movie. So especially in animation, so every second of the movie is worked, and hundreds and thousands of studios work, the members in the studios work towards building one successful movie. And talking about graphics, so what we understand, we do understand comics. So somewhere in 60s and 70s, starting with Walt Disney, so they realized that they can save a lot of cost of a movie, directing a movie by making a storyboard. So storyboard is basically understanding the camera angles and how the composition is going to work, how the characters are going to work in continuity, how the scenes are going to be there in sequence. So understanding the cinematography and creating a storyboard is one of the professions that even Bollywood has adopted now, and it saves a lot of production cost. So understanding, we have two parts. The creative professions comes under pre-production, and the execution of storyboard comes under production, and the post-production is video editing. So this is one profession where someone who is very good with graphics and anatomy of humans and postures can learn storyboarding as part of animation and film course and pursue a career in the entertainment industry. So moving ahead, So it's very important for us to understand, that under these design, architecture, and fine arts, starting with graphics, we do have posters. So, once you have completed your bachelor's in graphics, animation, film, and VFX, even if you have done architecture as a course, you can contribute as an architecture. You can contribute towards set design. So the set designs are, at times physical sets, also the virtual sets that we design these days. That happens, a lot of these professions are dependent on the softwares that we are using these days. So it's very important for all the graduates to be equipped with the latest softwares, and to have that proficiency. So what we under films and VFX, which is the third category here, we have directors who have studied from my college, from NID or from FTTI and other colleges in India, NSD. So they have become directors. So they have experience of working on movies, and they are very good directors nowadays. We also have director of photography and assistant directors, and cinematography is another part which is very essential, which so few graduates also work as screenwriters and storyboard artists. So in animation, we have two prime categories. One is films and second is the ads. So there are different mediums in animation. So what we have is, we have clay animation, we have stop motion animation, we have 2D and 3D animation. So for all these streams, what we need is, we definitely need a story writer, script writer, and storyboard artist. And the characters we see, the famous characters that we watch on in these movies, that also end up in games these days. So we have character designers who work on these characters. So more or less, these are different categories where youngsters can work. And the most important part, it's basically a piece of advice for everyone, that it's very important at what stage your present is right now, whether you're in school, college, or you're already a graduate and planning to pursue a career. So the most important thing is that, if this quote I really liked, which says that if you wish to move mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting stones today. So what is important for all of you who are watching this particular webinar on design careers, that what are you planning and how you are achieving it tomorrow. So your planning and execution has to start today. So since I am the academic head at the Creative Compass Institute, so we do provide counselings to students online, in India, all across the country, so that they are able to first have clarity of thought what they want to pursue as an education or as a career. So because it's very essential that the education you select for yourself is connected with your interest areas, and you also have those skill set. That's why it's very essential for you to meet any counselor, whether in your local area or online, or even if you want to ask your elders or fraternity from the industry. What is essential is to understand your interest areas through a counseling session, and have clarity of thought in terms of what kind of specialization you would like to pursue. So based on that, you should select colleges, whether in India or abroad. So especially after COVID-19, a lot of the education abroad has got affected. So students were unable to go abroad last year. So now the colleges are opening up, and I think by the end of this year there will be more admissions. So you have to select your colleges and that specialization of field that you want to pursue. And you also need to see that what are the job opportunities once you are graduated, once you are a graduate in that particular program. So, and that needs a lot of hard work. So that reminds me of a very famous one of the best selling books, Outlier. So this book is all about people who have become successful. And what they did was that, at your age as a teenager, they started working for 8 to 10 hours on a daily basis. So while working for so many hours, persistently, after 10 years they got the first taste of success. So just to give you examples, if you are aware of that, Pixar was one of the ventures of Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs, as a teenager, learned calligraphy, and based on his skills, he started a company. And he was the first entrepreneur to launch customized fonts in the Macintosh computer. And later, when he was not part of the management of Apple company, he started Pixar Animation Studio, and later the Pixar was the Disney bought the entire studio, and now it's part of Disney. So, and every year, Pixar is one of the foremost company in animation, with best stories and best character design and best storytelling abilities. So the point here is that in this particular book, Outliers, so it talks about all the teenagers, whether they were musicians, whether they were engineers, or they were creative people or entrepreneurs. So this book talks about how through persistence and determination and working tirelessly for a decade, as a youngster, they were able to become successful in their respective fields. So that is what is very essential for all of you to understand, that one, clarity of thought in terms of what you want to pursue, and that will lead you to a successful career ahead. And your target should be very clear. So going back to these companies like Disney, Pixar, or in India, all the production studios in India. So it's very essential for you to understand that you may start small. So you may start from a small studio. You can work from a small studio, and gradually you can reach to your mission, your vision, your goal of working in bigger studios, because all that experience that you will gather throughout these years will help you to reach to achieve your goal. So with this, I think this was a brief presentation on this. I will just touch upon print media and social media. So what is essential is that now, especially after the COVID-19, because the physical cinema, got affected. So a lot of movies were launched on online platforms, and even one of the movies like which I've shared the poster was the premiere happened on Amazon. So what is essential here is that the online platforms are upcoming, and they are also welcoming new ideas and new talent. And you can even an experiment. There are a lot of youngsters who are working on the social media, such as they are making their videos, documentaries, and uploading on simple YouTube channels, right? And gradually they build up good audience, and they're able to even bring a good quality, a new ideas to this platform. It's an open platform which anyone can try. So it's very essential for to understand that what opportunities lies in front of you, and your capabilities should be displayed through your portfolio. So for all these fields that I've shared, it's very essential that you have a very strong portfolio. For graphic design, your portfolio has to be very strong with the kind of work you want to portray and work in the industry. Similarly, for animation and film, your reel and your final work should be really good. And if you're good in cinematography, so that should be visible in the work. And most of these fields, especially few of the specializations in animation and film, needs teamwork. So it's very essential for you, whether while you are pursuing your graduation, that you are working in team. So working in team is going to really help you to build a good reputation, and there are huge teams working on one project. So it's essential to understand, have a good team dynamics, and it's essential to learn it while you are studying in your colleges, right? And once you graduate, it's very essential to gain experience, whether you gain experience working in a small or a big studio, or you start your own initiative and develop a strong portfolio so that you get selected by big studios. So with this quote, I will end my presentation. And for any questions, the forum is open now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pankaj sir, for this lovely presentation. And I also love this quote: if you want to move the mountain tomorrow, start with picking up the stones today. How wonderful.
Right. Thank you so much.
uh, how does it start? Uh, like you have said, you were good in all these subjects which are actually considered difficult, right? And still you have taken a career of design. Now design is important in all the industries, all the, be it wellness industry, healthcare,
Right.
any industry, it's very very important. So how do you distinguish the importance of design for social media and design for print media, if I'd say? Is there a difference, or do they go hand in hand? Whatever is going in print can go in.
Right. See, there are few, obviously, there are differences in both, in print media and social media. So, one, as an education, any graduate will learn both. So they will be equipped to work in print media industry, or they can even decide to work in social media industry. So there are few technical differences, and the dynamism of both the industries is very different. So mostly in print media, so there are deadlines based on the publishing, and in social media is more dynamic because mostly the deadlines are more frequent, and since it's more relevant to digital age, so a lot of e-platforms use social media, and the jobs need professionals who are updated, upgraded with the new technology, and are able to adapt to new softwares as well and the new applications. Whereas I think print media would be more traditional, in a sense that it still depends on the physical printing, and since it's traditional, it takes time. So one is more dynamic, so social media is more dynamic these days, and even a lot of publishing houses are coming online through their sales and marketing, and they need professionals who can handle both. So at times, a small design studio will give you opportunity where you're working both in print as well as in social media.
And if we talk about design as a career, so design is in all the industries. No matter if I have started working for the first 3 years, if I work in M&E, and for the next 3 years, like I'll not say the next 3 years in some other industry, then in the other industry. So it's just the fluctuation from industry to industry, but that designing career will continue to grow.
Right, right. Just to add to this, one of the big companies in the world is IDEO. It's IDEO. That was one company that contributed towards the initial innovations for Macintosh, the Apple computers and iPhones. And so that company works with diverse designers. So they would not only hire product designers, but they would have diverse teams, which would include engineers who are creative, which would include different professionals. And it depends from person to person. So mostly what happens, like for me, for a decade, more than a decade, I've been working in wellness as well as in design education. So if you have a clear cut understanding that I'm meant for this field, because I was very clear that I wanted to contribute in health industry, so that's why wellness. And somewhere, I always loved teaching and guiding and interacting with youngsters. So that's why, my connection with the design education. So though switch would not be very easy. So since if you are into VFX, it won't be easy for anyone to move from films to medical. But yes, it's possible because the same skill sets are essential. So again, the way these industries work is very different. The medical industry works in a very different way, and the end result varies because the end result is from B to B. Whereas when we talk about film industry, it's from straight to the audience, to the customers, right? So again talking about the dynamism. So film industry is more dynamic. So there are people who are youngsters who are more interested working in the dynamic industry. And but yes, there are designers who are working towards contributing in the health industry as well as in the engineering and manufacturing industries.
Great, great. So, tell me something more. Oh, am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, some system issue, I guess. So, tell us something important. What do you see 2021 will bring in for aspiring designers?
I think the paradigm has shifted, since last year. So there's a lot of change, and somehow I think, especially for the design industry, there's an increase in the jobs, and I have even seen that the kind of packages are given are with the industry. So there are no, what we have seen in other industries is that people have lost their jobs, right? And or they're working on half salaries. But on the other hand, when I looked at the design industry, so I've seen that there's an incremental increase in the salaries, and plus there is more demand. Reason being that the entire communication has shifted to online platforms, so that has resulted in more jobs. And but yes, since it's a competitive industry, so youngsters should have a very strong skill set and strong portfolio to go ahead. Because talking about India, we have a lot of competitions. So we have so many graduates in India. So it's very essential that you really build on your skill set and work every day, whether you are still a graduate or you have graduated and you still have time to you're applying, you're seeking for jobs. So it's essential that you keep on building on your strengths and skills. Another thing, I think the most important part is having a vision. So it's always important that you aim for one of the biggest companies. So you may not get that company straight away, but the kind of portfolio you will build, aiming for that company will definitely give you other job opportunities. So that's very essential for all the youngsters.
Okay. Along with this, what comes to my mind is practice.
Right.
Once I have got the skills, is it going to stay with me or can I refine it with the practice?
Right, right. Very essential, because especially as you were asking about 2021. So there are new jobs, and we are looking at a new world, which is dependent on online applications, online technology, and there will be now artificial intelligence. AI has become a very big part of all the companies and all the industries. So what is essential is that one should learn new applications, new softwares, and keep on polishing their own skills, because somewhere I think your skills will become redundant. And as youngsters, I think I've seen in my students also, and the fresh graduates from our colleges. So especially I've seen that they have started learning online. So they have enrolled themselves for new programs, and they're doing those short term programs, and they are really good when you are even switching to another industry. So for example, an animation graduate can switch to AI, artificial intelligence, just by learning 1 month course, right? So it's definitely important to keep polishing your skills, and at the same time practicing and also taking guidance either from your seniors or from the industry.
How how much importance does it have to have a mentor for yourself? Like you've just said, ask your senior. Is it
Right.
important? So I have a mentor that is actually, I can trust. I know he's going to guide me in the right direction. How important is that?
I think that's the foremost thing, to have a mentor. And talking about myself, right from school days and my college, I always had few faculties who I would look up to and would ask them. I was comfortable asking them, for guidance. And it's been 11 years when I complete my masters, and still I'm in touch with my few senior faculties, because they at that time had a vision, that where the design industry is going to be. And even today, my initial seniors, so initially I worked with few senior architects and designers, and even today I keep, I'm in touch with them, because one is mentors and second is your network. So both are going to help you to achieve your goal, one giving you clarity and guiding you at different stages of your life, and second, within your network, your awareness is more than just by learning from a single source. So interacting with your community, your fraternity, is also essential, which definitely includes seniors, which includes your own batchmates, your graduates. So building a network is very essential, whether in India or abroad. So that networking really helps you to even get new offers. So I have even read about and heard about people who have contributed towards good films through their network. So they were able to build very good teams, and they made movies, because they were very compatible with dynamic teams, and those movies like were really successful in their domains.
Okay, great. What is one thing that you think? I had a session with Mr. Moon Arun. He's with Brain Pan Technology, and he was showing us. So one word that I remember is that you take a pencil and you keep on making circles till the time it becomes absolutely perfect.
Right.
So similarly, is there any suggestion from your side that one point that you have to make sure that you continue doing, or any core mantra that you can suggest to students?
Right. I think I can just share from my life. So, what I did was that whenever I had targets, whether it was board exams, whether my college, clearing an entrance exam, getting my first job. So, one thing was common, that I always had a list of things, so I knew that I have to do these five things, whether it's a daily task or whether those five things are what you want to achieve as a short term or a long term goal, right? So what is essential is that one should have, um, yeah, you there? Right. So one should have clear goals written in front of them in their working space, whether you are a student or you are a professional. I think you must remember that there's that movie and a book, Secret, right? Which says that you should visualize what you want in future, whether it's a materialistic goal or a spiritual goal. That they give examples of, that I dreamt of a house, so the house was my goal, and after 10-15 years I had that house, I own that house. Similarly, what is essential is whatever is your goal, and you have to sincerely work towards it, and having that listed in front of you is essential. So consciously and subconsciously reminding yourself that I have to work towards these goals. So for me, as a youngster, and even today, so I'm very good with having a list of things in front of me, and I really it also somewhere complements your efforts when you sincerely work towards those tasks. So when you accomplish a single task, 2-3 tasks, you somewhere feel more confident. That really helps you to move ahead and achieve other tasks. So I think having a list and having your own space is very essential. Professional space, if you are, especially because in creative industry, there are a lot of youngsters who are freelancing, right? So they work on project basis. So for them, it's very essential to have targets for themselves, whether it's a personal or a professional target, and have that listed on a paper. So because this is also another technique that is there taught in design education, which is about mind mapping, also called as brainstorming. So at times, our mind is full of, puzzles. So we have a lot of things to do, but we are not clear what to do first. So having a list of priorities helps you to streamline your mind, and you're able to apply that in your daily life. So that is, I think, one thing which I can definitely recommend all the youngsters and everyone to do. And right from my young, when I was in school and till now, I've been following this, and it works for me.
So it's like you're attracting what you have written towards you and you're working towards it. So a magnetic effect that is taking you to that level.
Right. It's very simple. The way when we watch something, for example, that, at times we get addicted to a particular program. So we will keep on watching that, whether on mobile phone or a computer or on television. So the same program is so much ingrained in us that we will keep on thinking about it, and we'll again would like to watch it. Similarly, I think the same principle applies here. So the more we remind ourselves that, these are the things that are written in front of me, and I have to do them. So I think somewhere it works again and again, because even if you're not reading them, but that I have listed them and it's there, right? So that's how it works.
Wonderful. So there are a lot of career opportunity in design. That's what we understood with this session. Now, is there an entrepreneurship opportunity as well, or just the employment opportunity?
There are, I think, last 10 years, I've seen that a lot of initiatives by the government, by even MSME and other governing councils, what they have done is they have funded the new entrepreneurs. So that has happened in all the government institutes. So all NIDs, IITs, NIFTs, and other institutes, they have annual funding by the government, and that funding is given to the new entrepreneurs who wants to start their own companies and studios, or if they have an innovative idea. And there are competitions happening in the incubation centers of IITs, IIMs, CIEs. So these competitions helps students to get funding. So funding is basically varies from one is from industry and one is from the government. So even there are small grants given to startup companies, and so there has been a great increase in number of startup companies in India. And looking at the trend, most of them are into design and technology, right? So government, yes, they are supporting, and I think 50% of the graduates, the creative graduates, when they graduate, they try to do start something of their own, and 50% of them actually sit for the placements. And I think one thing should be that when you graduate, that's the right time to decide to try something, because once you get into a job, then at times it becomes difficult, because you have a monthly salary, and you know that you're working towards a organization. So somewhere I think the enterprising skills will not be the same if you're working for a company. So if anyone who wants to start a startup, they should start just after their graduation. And it's very essential to be aware of these programs, because there are grants available, there are seed grants available, and at different stages of your business. Because if you look at the industry nowadays, if you look at all these big applications like Byju's, and there's Flinto Box. So these are few companies they have invested in through designers. So their team have game designers, they have graphics and animation designers and VFX artists. So all of them are working towards building. One is building towards education through games. Another one is building towards online education. So both the companies were started by youngsters, and they also got funding, and they have reached a stage where now they can increase the organization through more employment. So I think it's very essential to take that decision quite early in your life. So, but yes, there are a few books. There is one book which is Connecting the Dots, which talks about the entrepreneurs, especially in the creative industry. So there are two books, written by one of the graduates from IIM the one of the management institutes. So this book talks about how people have started as youngsters, and also few who worked for a decade, 2 decades in the industry, and then started their studio. So as such, there is no formula for it, but yes. So if you have that kind of enterprising skills, so it's better to dive, at an early stage and understand the dynamics, understand how the funding works, because it takes a lot of time. So for any startup, at least 3 years are required to break even and to even generate funding.
Right, right, right. Lot of entrepreneur opportunity and lot of opportunity for creative people. When we talk about this, uh, freelancers, freelancers are nowadays earning more than what an employed person is
Right,
earning. And then they are the boss of themselves.
right.
So that's another good opportunity for designers. You even do it per project and they even do per hour basis, right? This is how it works.
Right, right. So especially for freelancers, somewhere as a student, if you're a design student and you're still working in the college, you do get opportunities to work on projects. So initially, what I've seen that especially in India, what happens that through your friend circle, through your family, through your relatives, you will have some project. Though you may not earn something, but you will have an experience of working on a live project, which later, later, especially nowadays, we have online platforms. So we have different platforms where we can register as a freelancer in our particular category, and we can earn on a project basis. And I've seen, I have actually have one example within my friend circle, where one of my friend had a government job, and with his government job, he started working as a freelance, in the evenings. And after 5 years, he left his job and he became full-time freelancer. And he even, hired more people to work, especially in the web domain. So yes, there are opportunities, and somewhere, it's good because it gives you a balance of your life. One, in if you're really good in terms of understanding, how to get clients through bidding on different freelance platforms. So, and once you understand that in few projects or in a couple of years, then it can become, a very good opportunity, because you are able to balance your personal and professional life. And it's also essential for any designer to have balanced well-being. That means that physically and physical as well as mental well-being. So what happens that most of the time we are so occupied with our work that we miss out on our health. So we miss out a small 10-20 minutes walk, right? We may miss out on having a balanced diet. So that's where jobs which gives you flexibility helps, that you're able to work on your health. But on the other hand, I have seen people who are on jobs and they are so productive that they keep a balance. So they would go for a morning walk. They would, if they are into salads and all, they'll carry that salads to the organizations, so they'll maintain their health. Because since I am also into design for wellness, so I can share this, that especially for I myself have, especially after the lockdown, so really work towards my health in terms of making myself, having a balanced approach in terms of both physical activities and mental well-being, with having obviously, working professionally and meeting your targets.
With this, what comes to my mind is when you've said mental well-being. What I've heard, when you just do some doodling and you are just playing while designing, that even reduces your stress level. Is that true?
That's very true. And actually, I've heard it from even my friends who are not into creative professions. So they are either into management jobs or technical jobs. But whenever they have, in their free time, if whenever they have painted, they feel that it really cools them down. It's like a relaxing activity. It gives a relaxation to the brain, right? And yes, it has that magic, a mystic effect, that creative things. Even for me, like mostly I have a lot of management role to play in my organization, so a lot of coordination and teamwork. So whenever I'm free, I make sure that I doodle something, I draw something, and mostly in last 4 years it has become spiritual art, because and this is one of the activities also which anyone can try, which is that you can play a music that you like and you can start drawing. So with different music, your drawing and your ideas will be different, right? So, and yes, it works. So having any activity with complementary music helps.
Okay, I think everybody must try this. That you start drawing whatever designing, whichever way, with a pen or a pencil, a crayon and a paper, or with electronic gadgets in your hand. Just try with the music, and how art and music goes hand in hand. That's what we have heard. But I think the suggestion given by Pankaj sir, we are surely going to try this. And this has really been a wonderful session, knowing about so many opportunities in design as a career. Now, my last question, and one core mantra that you would like to give to the students, जो youngsters हमारे aspirants हैं या सीख रहे हैं, उनके लिए आप कुछ बताना चाहेंगे जिससे वो, I don't know if motivation or if it's a mantra that everybody can do it. That's how. Good.
Right. I think the most important thing is having a focus. So focus means that to understand that my life is the most important, right? And what happens that, we get distracted. So distraction means that we would do something which will, let's suppose, entertain us, but would not add value in terms of the time we have. And especially at this stage, when I feel that my half life is over and half life is left, so I feel that time is the most important factor. So again, it doesn't mean that we have to work 24 hours. Even if we work for 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours, but those 8 to 10 hours should be productive, whether we are as a student or as a professional or as a freelancer. So that's another thing which happens with freelancers, that working for 2 hours and rest of the day, they work on other things. But I think then again pushing yourself to work more, maybe on a project, because I know few people in my friend circle, they have written books, and especially it has happened in last year, especially through the lockdown, or there was they took break from their corporate life for a year, and meanwhile they wrote a book. So what is essential here is that we as humans have multiple skills. So if even if we are in a job, we definitely have something that we would like to pursue apart from job. It could be painting, it could be content creation. Like I've seen few creative people, they create content on YouTube, right? And that doesn't happen easily, so they devote their nights doing it. So I think the most important part is one, time management, knowing your priorities with a balance. That means not like really slogging for 16-20 hours on a daily basis, because that will really affect your health. And but keeping a balance and still working towards your goal. And even if you're a professional, still devoting like 1-2 hours on something that is something as a pet project for you, that may bring some kind of results in couple of years. I think so that would be something which I would like to that everyone to apply, to have a clear focus and a balanced time approach.
Okay, time management. Time is money and time is health. When we
Right.
waste time, we are losing on money and health, which is, again, both are not advisable. A
Right.
very, very good suggestion, sir.
One of my professors, and he has a national award winner, and he has contributed towards grassroots innovation. So I attended a session. It was a session for small children. So he was explaining these small children that why it's important to sleep on time. So he said that sleeping on time helps you to build your immunity. So your body cycle is balanced, and that's why, since you are you have good immunity, you will not get affected by COVID-19. A very simple mantra. So yes, we have to work on physical as well as our food. That is one thing. But also having a balance at times. In creative field, I'll tell you, because there's so much of work. So a lot of youngsters, they have sleepless nights. And the routine is also upset. So that's where the balancing time is very essential. So using your time in the day, and where you can complete everything and have a good sleep. So have at least 6 hours of sleep, if not 8 hours. So I think that is where our youngsters, because while you are young, you have you also have blessing of health. So they basically really push themselves, their physical limits and mental limits. But I think it doesn't work over a long period. So it's essential to keep that balance.
Okay, great. Uh, so, with this lovely mantra and lovely information about opportunities in design career, we'll take your leave and will actually think. We really wish everybody thinks about how they can manage their time. And there are immense opportunities in design career. There you can be a freelancer, you can have your own business setup, you can work as an employee to someone and still do part-time or some project-based job and earn. So with and yes, peace of mind as well, because when you are working in a creative field, that peace of mind, that satisfaction, and that mental well-being is always there. With this, I'd like to thank Pankaj Sehjowalia, sir, for your time and patience with us, and my lovely audience for joining us on Vidyadan platform. We'll be back with you on 4 p.m. on 5th of March. We'll be back on Thursday with you on another session, which will be really exciting. We'll keep updating you. And yes, अभी well-being की बात हमने कर ली, थैंक यू भी हो गया, लेकिन अभी कोरोना वापस आ गया है. तो stay all, everybody stay safe, keep wearing mask, and that mantra of sleeping on time so you are immune and COVID doesn't hit you. So try that. I hope it
was
works for
it
everybody.
was wonderful. It was a wonderful session, and you have very interesting questions. And it was a lovely interaction with you. And thank you for this opportunity. And we'll stay connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Take care, guys. We'll meet you. Bye bye.